Sports betting could soon look a little different in Arkansas. FanDuel and DraftKings are applying to partner with two Arkansas casinos, and that's sparking a lot of questions about aggressive marketing and how easy it could be to place a bet. 5 News reporter Laura Castleman is joining us in the studio to explain what this could mean.
FanDuel and DraftKings are two very popular betting apps, and soon they could be more accessible. FanDuel is hoping for a partnership with Oaklawn in Hot Springs, and DraftKings wants to team up with Southland Casino in West Memphis. Another huge casino and resort is saying this goes against the 2018 Amendment 100 that requires sports books to be operated by licensed casinos, not independent third-party companies. Sports betting in Arkansas could be playing a new hand.
If this was approved by the Arkansas Racing Commission, what you could see is a co-branded app between a FanDuel or a DraftKings and one of the state's casinos.
Scott Hardin, spokesperson for the Arkansas Racing Commission, says there's a catch. 51% of the revenue has to stay in Arkansas, and that's a high stake compared to the 85 to 95% of what these apps usually make.
Some of them expressed thoughts that this was going to keep them out of Arkansas.
As betting apps try to team up with local casinos in Arkansas, local groups like Saracen Casino and Resort are pushing back.
Is in direct contradiction to what all three casinos unanimously believed was the correct position only about 4 years ago.
Carlton Safa, the chief market officer for Saracen, says Oaklawn is going back from what they said in years past.
Arguing FanDuel should not be allowed to operate in Arkansas. So I was shocked when I heard that suddenly we're going to ignore history.
In a 2021 release from Oaklawn Racing Casino and Resort, it says in part, they are asking for wagering rules to allow each casino licensee, in its discretion and with the approval of the Arkansas Racing Commission, to provide more than 2 individually branded online sports platforms. Hardin says if approved, you could see the apps heavily marketed throughout the state.
They co-brand that app and the technology. I mean, this would allow for the sportsbooks to utilize that technology of the DraftKings FanDuel.
The idea of that doesn't set well with everyone.
I'm concerned when you have people in the case of FanDuel who are in New York or DraftKings who are in Boston making decisions about how operations will occur. There's great value in having Arkansans operating in a business in Arkansas.
Hardin says the next step is for the Racing Commission to meet in Little Rock Thursday to discuss and possibly vote on it. I reached out to both Oaklawn and Southland, along with DraftKings and FanDuel for a statement. All have yet to reply. Laura Castleman, 5 News.
All right, Laura, thanks. Home opening weekend for Razorback baseball got off to a good start today with a 5-2 win over Xavier. For fans, quite a few braved the cold to start lining up as early as 6 this morning to get in. They all came out for one reason, their love of Razorback baseball. Longtime Razorback fan Rick Bowick is no stranger to camping out before baseball games. He says it's become sort of a tradition and that he's not alone.
It's just a bunch of friendship and close friends and talking and reminiscing about baseball games from the past and planning our strategy when we go in, you know, who's going to run, who's going to walk, who's getting which cart. It's just a full day of just hanging out with your friends.
We'll have much more on today's first ball game, including some highlights a little bit later on in sports. Key Ridge National Military Park says it will be conducting a prescribed burn. That prescribed burn is supposed to last through this Sunday. Park Superintendent Shelley Todd says up to 450 acres of fields and forest will be burned to, quote, maintain and restore the historic landscape of the battlefield area. Some of the goals are to reduce any available fire fuels and to get rid of invasive plant species. Meanwhile, the Oklahoma Office of the Chief Medical Examiner has confirmed human remains found during a University of Oklahoma construction project. PD there says construction crews first found the remains during the Life Sciences Laboratories building project, where all work was stopped immediately once that was found. First responders have not set up a crime scene as investigators suspect no foul play was involved. Preliminary evaluation suggests the remains could date back to the early 1900s. An OCME spokesperson said their office has sent anthropologists to assist the state archaeologist in recovery of non-forensic remains. The elevated fire weather posing a very serious risk even in urban areas. County leaders in Oklahoma near Tulsa approved a 12-day burn ban as drought conditions continue with very little rain in the forecast. Sam Carrico has the story.
Tulsa County Emergency Manager Bill Smiley says the burn ban is about getting agencies aligned and getting information out quickly.
To try to reduce fires in their home or in the community.
He says more than 20% of recent fires started from controlled burns that got out of hand.
It helps the agriculture and the soil, but it's windy as well. So those can get out of hand.
Anyone who does burn outdoors during the ban could face a fine up to $500 and up to a year in jail. While the city of Tulsa hasn't issued its own burn ban, Tulsa Fire Chief Michael Baker is treating this week as an all-hands-on-deck event.
Any day like this, when we see these wildfire red flag warnings come through, we know that there's a high risk to property and life, we make sure we up staff.
His crews have already responded to grass fires inside the city and assisted rural firefighters in Oshaleta. Baker says while Tulsa is more urban, fires can still spread fast, especially on open fields, construction areas, and along roadways.
Any fire, whether it's just a shed in a backyard, somebody that accidentally discards a cigarette somewhere, can spread so quickly that it gets out of hand and gets either in property or can spread through grassland or trees.
Smiley says the risk isn't going away anytime soon.
The quicker we can get information out to people, the faster they'll react. And the faster they react, the reduced risk that we're going to have for that.
Here at home, Black-owned Northwest Arkansas is gearing up to host its 9th annual expo tomorrow, bringing together dozens of Black-owned businesses from across the region. This year, something new is coming to the expo. It's a special Kidpreneur component that will be giving entrepreneurs under the age of 18 a chance to showcase their products. Organizers say the goal is to create a space for business owners of all ages to grow, network, and be celebrated.
It's all about passing down the skill set, passing down the ability to understand how to be an entrepreneur, how to create, how to connect with people, how to sell, how to just really drive the idea of generational wealth and get that notion of it passed down as well.
If you want a chance to see these Kidpreneurs and their vendors in action, they'll be at the Fayetteville Town Center tomorrow from 11 to 4. A new historic marker in Texas honors the first black sheriff elected in the U.S. Walter Moses Burton was born into slavery but made history in 1869 when he was elected to lead law enforcement in Fort Bend County. Burton later served 7 years in the state Senate. The dedication of the historical marker was held today outside the county courthouse to recognize Burton's legacy and important role in history.
It is an amazing feat to do all that he did at the time that he did and accomplish as much as he did. So we want to give you thanks for recognizing it and acknowledging it, because at a time like this, we need every recognition that we can.
This was all made possible by a statewide program to honor African Americans who served in the Texas legislature during Reconstruction.